These are the 7 lessons that I learned to be successful at anything I do, and you can do the same. These are also the things that I've learned over more than 2 decades in business that if you implement will set you up for success. These lessons have helped me do over $100 million in business and last over 2 decades, while most businesses fail in the first few years. While these are all important, and some of these will be very controversial to you, number 5, I promise, will explode everything that you do. All right, so let's get into it. If you really want to be successful, you need to hang around with the right people. So if you want to stay connected and be notified when new videos come out, when I've got mastermind events and other things that I provide to people like yourself, go to tonyjavier.com/connect. So number 1 is don't work so hard. This is something that took me a long time to figure out. It was about 10 years in business when I decided to let my whole staff go, and it was for the 3rd time. It was actually a really low point in my career, and I thought my business was going here, and I thought I had some pretty good people working for me, and everything kind of started coming crashing down. And what I realized is I was making a lot of the wrong decisions. I was working way too hard. So I actually found another real estate investor that had a business that ran without him. And I hired him as a coach. And literally within about 3, maybe 4 years, I went from struggling. I went from hiring all the wrong people. I went from, bad systems, bad processes, to having a business that ran without me. And the biggest thing is that someone gave me the vision for it. That coach, had I not met him, I might have struggled for many more years before I figured out that you could have a business that ran without you and get some pretty big rewards because you did things the right way. Number 2 is get help early. I see so many business owners struggle with this, and it doesn't matter if you have $0 to your name. Most of you have at least a little bit of money to invest. You can find help for as little as $5 an hour and sometimes even $3 an hour by hiring people in other countries. By the way, I don't get sponsored by them, but one of the best ways that I find people online overseas is onlinejobs.ph. You can post an ad there and people will respond, and you'd be surprised at the high-level people in the Philippines you can find for as little, again, as $3 an hour. But if you could pay $5 to $7 an hour, that's even better. Think about the things that you're doing right now that someone at $5 an hour in the Philippines can do. I have multiple people in the Philippines that work between $5 to $10 an hour that do work of $40,000 to $60,000 a year salary employees in the US. So with the resources that are available to you, there's no reason for you not to get help, or else you could really burn out quickly. By the way, I put these weekly videos out to help you guys think at a higher level, to succeed, and to just get to the next level, whatever that level is to you. So if you could do me a favor, like and subscribe and hit the notification button, and you will be notified when I put out videos like this, videos that I could charge thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in a course for, I give to you guys for free. All right, moving on to number 3 is cash flow is king. Profits, that's great. Cash flow is even better. I remember about 15 years ago, my profit and loss statement was actually pretty decent. I was making good money, but at the end of the day, I didn't have any cash. I'm like, where is my cash going? And what I realized was I was taking a lot of my cash and putting it into fix and flip properties. So while making money is important, having cash is important too, because it allows you to invest in marketing. It allows you to invest in properties. I mean, think about these big multi-billion-dollar companies. They don't make much money, but they raise a ton of cash. So I'm not saying go out there and raise a ton of cash, but my point is that they have the money to spend to grow the business. All right, number 4, this took me a long time to figure out, but embrace failure. It's part of the process. I have failed so many times in my business career. I mean, almost 25 years in business, 24, 25 years in business. I hired a high-level coach recently, and I told her how much money I lost on a property. In fact, I lost $260,000 on a property. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. And she said, you know what? Don't look at it as $260,000 loss. Look at it as $260,000 lesson. What if I could take that loss and make it a lesson? And anytime I've ever had a failure, something good has come out of it. So I mentioned earlier in 2010 when I fired my staff for the third time, I actually was sick of it. And I went to my sister and I said, hey, I'm sick of hiring these people. I need someone better. And I ended up hiring her, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. It's 15 years later, and she runs my real estate investing business. So number 5, I told you this one was going to be key to you, and that's create a vision and believe it can happen. So if you remembered, I hired a coach that had a company that ran without him. And honestly, the coaching wasn't the biggest part of it. It was knowing that could happen and having a vision for it. In fact, quick story, you're gonna love this one. So I went to Tony Robbins back in 2012, and it was a 4-day workshop. And on day 3, he had you close your eyes and envision what was missing in your life and visually create that thing in your life that was missing. So for me, it was a woman, and he said, be very specific about what you want. So for me, a woman was missing in my life, so that's what I envisioned. And I envisioned dark hair, I envisioned tall, I envisioned athletic, someone that ate healthy, someone that loved to travel, and I named 10 or 12 different things. And guess what? The next day, my wife, my soon-to-be wife, sat right next to me, exactly what I had envisioned the day before. So right after this video, I encourage you to spend 5 to 10 minutes writing down exactly what it is that you want in the next 5 years. So number 6, sales and marketing are number 1. These are the 2 things that drive anything you do. So really it starts with marketing. How do you portray your business, your service, what it is you're providing other people? You could have the best sales process in the world, but if your marketing is not dialed in, it's all for nothing. So when you do market, it's also the other way around. You could have the best marketing in the world, but if you don't know how to sell it on the back end, it's all for nothing. So for those of you that are business owners or executives, you really need to concentrate mostly on sales and marketing. And number 7, this is going to be very controversial. So quit early. So I'm going to give you a couple examples of this. One is going to be short term, one's going to be a little bit longer term. So have you ever had those days where you get out of bed and you stub your toe and you spill coffee on yourself, you're brushing your teeth and toothpaste goes all over you? You know, just one of those days where you just don't feel like anything's going right. Sometimes I'll literally wrap it up at 11 a.m. and I'm done. I'm not into it. I can't think. So I could work harder and I could stay here until 8 p.m. Or I could work smarter and say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stop a little bit early today. So don't be afraid to quit early some days. And then from a long-term aspect, don't be afraid to quit businesses. Don't be afraid to quit partnerships. Don't be afraid to quit relationships. So for me, I'll give you an example. Recently, I started a business several years ago, and it was a funding business. I was starting to get some traction, and all of a sudden, I started having loans go bad. I started having to clean up messes, right? And I kept saying to myself, okay, that's just one here, one there. And all of a sudden, I had 6 or 8 projects that went bad, and I lost a ton of money on these projects. I mentioned one earlier, $260,000 on one house. So to wrap it up here, these are the 7 things that if you implement these and you think about these on a daily basis, you can be, do, and have anything that you want. So let me just recap for you real quick. Remember, number 1, don't work so hard, work smarter. Number 2, get help early, especially if you can afford $5 an hour. Number 3, profits are great, but cash flow is king. Number 4, embrace failure. Not everything is going to go right. When things go wrong, just think, what is coming good out of this failure? Number 5, create the vision. Everything great in your life is going to happen twice. It's going to happen in your vision, in your mind, and then it's going to happen in real life. Number 6, dial in your sales and marketing. These are 2 things that if you could concentrate on any parts of your business, these would be it. And number 7, don't be afraid to quit early. You're not a failure if you quit. Sometimes you're actually even better when you quit. Thanks for watching. Again, if you want to connect with me and a bunch of high-level people, go to tonyjavier.com/connect. And if you love this video, you are really going to like this one.